something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
You are now tuned in to the multi-nominated, award-winning Game-Spitting Chronicles podcast, hosted by the homie Cuzzo. You BZ? It's the Chronicles podcast. 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 It's the Chronicles podcast.
What up, y'all? This is your boy Cuzzo, and we got to get into it, man. It's the Chronicles. We cannot delay. We cannot stall. We've got to get to it because today I have to be the bad guy. Oh, yeah. There has to be one. Yeah. In this journey we call life, there's many twists and turns. At some points, many of you looked at me as the good guy, a truth teller, maybe hero to some. I don't fucking know. Could be. Yeah. But there comes a time, like they said in the Dark Knight famous movie, sometimes you're the hero long enough to become the villain. And when I say the villain, I have to be the one to be the bearer of bad news that a lot of people don't want to hear. Especially my home state, California. Oh, we've got some bad news for you today. But we're going to start off with reparations talk. I know many of my listeners were interested. I know my homeboy Dozen. We got to give it up for Dozen. Oh, yeah. I know he was in favor of reparations. To an extent, I understand why people want reparations. I totally understand it. I'm not necessarily for it. I'm not necessarily against it. I guess I'm smack dab in the middle. It doesn't keep me up at night, if that makes sense. But California was that close to passing it. It was almost going to Newsom's desk, but guess what? It didn't happen.
Is the final night of California's legislative session. State lawmakers have until midnight tonight to pass proposed laws for the year ahead of the deadline. Advocates for reparations for Black Californians have been protesting all day as lawmakers plan to block two key bills for that effort. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala is live at the state capitol right now with what's happening. Ashley?
That's right, Orko. This has been the big story mainly all day here. California's Legislative Black Caucus, which represents the black members of the state legislature, confirmed that lawmakers will not move forward with those two key proposals. The first, SB 1403, which would establish a state agency to oversee the state's reparations efforts. The other, SB 1331, that would establish a state fund for reparations. So the blocking of these bills has angered protesters who've been in the Capitol Rotunda all day, yelling at lawmakers in the assembly to bring the bills up for a vote. State Senator Stephen Bradford said Governor Newsom's office asked him to make changes to the bill that would establish the state agency, and to instead turn it into a study of reparations recommendations by the University of California. Bradford would not accept the changes, and he says the Legislative Black Caucus is afraid of the veto. But the leader of the Legislative Black Caucus, Assemblymember Lori Wilson, denied this. Bradford told us, though, the bills have the votes.
We're at the finish line. And I think we as a Black Caucus owe it to the descendants of chattel slavery. We owe it to Black Californians and Black Americans to move this legislation forward and get it to the governor's desk.
Now, nothing is final until the gavel drops here at midnight, but it's unlikely that these bills will come up for a vote. So it's something that we'll continue to watch.
Folks, it never was going to make it to Newsom's desk. I'm the bearer of bad news tonight. We have to understand that the election is in play. Somebody whispered in someone's ear and said, we don't want this to pass and be at the forefront of this election. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. Somebody told somebody something, or Gavin Newsom said something, somebody from a higher up said something. They say, we can't let this shit go. However, Newsom can still give migrants that loan program for up to $150K. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You see, we have to be realistic about what's going on. And I'm talking to my African American listeners. You might be in California, you might be all across the country, but we have to be realistic about what's going on. That's not going to be a thing. They have too much at stake right now. Now, I saw a lady on the news say this is going to cost Harris in the election, maybe in California, but California has always voted blue. That's the problem. That's why all this stuff that's going on is going on. And it's not getting any better. Senate Bill 1403, which would have created the California American Freedom Affairs Agency, which would have been tasked with implementing reparations and determining eligibility. Senate Bill 1331 would have established the fund for reparations and reparative justice to eventually pay for the various forms of reparations. They didn't want to put money towards that. It's about the migrants coming in. You guys have to understand that. That's what it's about. Nancy Pelosi was on Bill Maher recently, and this is what she had to say. And Bill kind of looked at her like, what? Because this is what your representatives in California, this is at the top of the list. Migrants are at the top of the list, not what African Americans want. And I've got to be the bad guy and say it.
California lawmakers just passed a law, it hasn't been signed by Governor Newsom, but giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration, is it not? I'm not going to say that's what the country's going to do, but that's certainly where California is.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people. But understand this about immigration. The best speech on immigration was by President Ronald Reagan. This is the last speech I will make as President of the United States. I want to communicate a message to the country I love. And he talked about the Statue of Liberty and the beacon of hope it is to the world, and what America was preeminent in the world because our door was always open, and we will cease to be preeminent when we shut the door. Now, I don't do justice to the great communicator. Google it. It's a fabulous speech. And George Herbert Walker Bush continued in that respect for the diversity of America and the rest. California's always in the lead. Maybe others will follow that lead, but that's up to those states. But we're very blessed here with beautiful diversity.
So you'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you're a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we can move them to documented. One of the best things that we can do for our economy is to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
That's what's at the top of the docket. Not taking care of African Americans. Sorry. They're telling you what is at the top of the agenda. Do you think Newsom's going to sign it? He's got 30 days. Do you think he's going to sign it? We'll see. Now, there is a chance he might not do it because, I mean, if this passes in California and he signs it into law, everybody's going to be looking like, what? Are you fucking serious? Oh, yeah. They're going to be looking. They will be looking. But, you know, I've watched a lot of people on it. I've seen commentary from everybody, but you know, I could just keep playing these clips on and on and on. Just like with Chuck Schumer earlier today.
The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
See? African Americans are at the bottom of the bucket. And this is the party that we continually vote for. In states like California, we continually keep them in power just so they can keep their foots on your necks and on your pocketbooks. This is true. This is what's going on. And on top of all this, the icing on the cake, we're not done with California because we have an economy that's starting to go down the shitter. California is touted for having an enormous economy, but here's the facts. The facts are, because we've been reporting here on it on the Chronicles podcast, businesses are leaving California. Costs are skyrocketing. The average cost of a home is $900,000. Insurance is going up. Homeowners insurance is going up. Insurance companies are leaving. Now, California could see car insurance rates soar by more than 50% this year. 28% on a national average, but 50% this year. Make it make sense.
They're getting screwed in California.
Online insurance agency and price comparer Insurify.com says car insurance premiums that increased last year 24% will do the same by the end of this year, 48% in all nationwide. California could hit 54%. Insurance agents are caught between insurers' ever-increasing rates and the customer's ever-decreasing ability to afford them.
Some of our companies are completely shut down for any new business this year in California. The worst homeowners insurance crisis ever in California currently.
Only one company out of the 7 Schaefer uses will write new auto policies as before.
I've had clients tell me they're ready to move out of California because of the cost of insurance.
We came to Mash Gas in Orinda, a place that always saves consumers on money and where consumer-conscious people shop. We asked them about car insurance.
I actually lost my homeowners and car insurance last year from a company, and I had to go look for insurance, and I was able to get insurance, and I'm very happy with it, but it is costing me more money.
It's ridiculous. The Department of Insurance is not controlling them at all, and I swear they're in on it because they don't really care. That's why so many people are moving out of California.
These companies are just going to force us out.
You heard it. And, you know, a lot of people don't bring this up. I've seen people cover this when it comes to California. All these prices, I worry about family that I have in California. I worry about my homeboys that I have in California. Everybody that I know in California. My biggest concern for you guys, and I'm talking to you guys specifically, but anybody that lives in California, my biggest concern with all this money they're giving to undocumented and everything, because think about it too. I mean, let's put this into perspective. If you're driving a car and you get hit by someone, because premiums and everything are going to go up, they're going up. I'm not going to say they're going to, they're going up. If you get hit by somebody without insurance, ooh, that's a hard pill to swallow. And like I've said for many weeks on end now, when we talk about the cost of homes and what all it entails, homeowners insurance and everything is going up, and some of these coverages might not cover everything. So my biggest concern for the people I know in California and I care about in California is a natural disaster happening. And these insurance companies won't cover the disaster that happens. Car insurance, I mean, you know, you have vehicle theft, you have bipping going on. If you don't know what bipping is, you can look it up, but it's pretty much where they rob you while you're in your car, or they bust out your shit and snatch and grab your shit. But all this has to do with insurance and the costs going up because insurance companies in California don't want to take that risk. They don't want to fuck with it. Now, as fucked up as that seems, I don't blame them. You're paying out more than you're bringing in. The amount of claims and having to cover claims and everything. This is even before a natural disaster. Fires, California's fire hazards, California's earthquake hazards. This is before we even get to natural disasters. But while all this is going on, Kamala's going around laughing, ha-haing, and kikiing, using fake accents and shit, you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what's going on. You can't make this up.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
You better thank a union member. You better thank a union member. Oh, yeah. She's got time for that. She's got time for the shenanigans. But California, I don't know what to say. You know, I report on California, like I said before, because I love California. you have to understand that California is special to me. It's dear to me, so I'm going to report on it. I can report on Alaskan news, absolutely. I do sometimes when a good enough story comes, because I mean, it's politics is pretty slow in Alaska unless a big story comes out. But I do have questions for Mary Patola, though. Like her campaign ads, I always see them on YouTube. And the guys on the commercial say, I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for Trump in 2020. And this time, I'm voting for Mary Patola. And I'm like, what? And I keep seeing this commercial over and over. And I don't know if her campaign knows, but somebody should tell them, well, Mary Patola's not running for president. She's just running for state shit. Why do we need that? Doesn't make sense to me. Wouldn't the better campaign ad be to say, I voted for Trump in 2016, I voted for Trump in 2020, and as a voting Republican, I'm going to be voting locally for Mary Patola. Doesn't that sound better? Say that. Don't have the ad. You trying to make people think that she's running up against Kamala and Trump. What the fuck? Come on. Make the ads make sense. I'm just saying. And after Kamala's sit-down interview, shit just wasn't going too well. It was going downhill for her,
And if you are a Republican, Democrat, Independent, does the way that you identify racially impact your politics, or specifically how you plan to vote this election?
Absolutely.
How so?
I'm not going to lend my support behind someone who does not support people who look like me.
I don't think he sees me as who I am.
Former President Donald Trump.
Yes.
And what about the rest of you?
I just don't think that Kamala Harris has anything vested in the air finger quote black or Hispanic experience in so much as it would be identified by anybody that lives in those communities.
You're saying you don't think that she can help black or brown people?
No, I mean, going to Howard don't make you black.
A conversation that quickly turned to this moment in a July interview at the National Association of Black Journalists.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
What did you think when you heard those comments?
Highly offensive. I mean, I think probably every multiracial, mixed race, biracial person has had the experience of someone else telling them that they are not something enough. I think it's kind of triggering, right?
I think it is impossible to be biracial in America. And I think that it requires that you're covering all bases at all times. And it requires constant recognition of both identities. And I think when Donald Trump says stuff like that about Kamala Harris and implies that she's like picking a race for political advantage, it's tapping into an incredibly familiar sentiment that I think everyone on this panel can understand.
LaMarie and Abdul, as Trump supporters, when you heard that comment, as mixed people, how did it register with you?
Well, my first thought was, that wasn't very well thought out. At the same time, though, when I heard it, I didn't hear it as an attack on blacks or Indians. I heard it more so of him commenting towards identity politics and the appeal that some take to play up one side of their race over the other.
Abdul, I see you nodding your head.
I agreed with him. I didn't know she identified as black because everything I saw was first South Asian, first Indian. There's none of that identified as black.
Regardless of her parents, I mean, she was born in this country, and she identifies as a black person in this country in an American way, in a uniquely American context.
I've never heard her identify herself as a black woman.
She said multiple times she's a black woman.
I've never heard it.
But I'm black.
Yes.
And I'm proud of being black.
Politics.
I should note that one of the gentlemen we spoke to there, Abdul Ali, is currently a Republican candidate for North Carolina's 12th congressional district. His opponent is Representative Alma Adams, who was elected back in 2014. But what's
now, we've talked about this on the Chronicles weeks ago when I've played the clips for you in the audio. This is where there's confusion. This is where there's mystery in the history, because like I said, people are equating Jamaican to being, people are equating Jamaica, being Jamaican, as automatically being black. You can be Indian and be Jamaican. That doesn't mean you're African American or black, excuse me. That doesn't mean you're black. There's white people in Jamaica that are considered Jamaican. So, when Kamala talks about this, just like when she talked about smoking weed in college, listening to Tupac, even though that was a lie. When she talked to Joe Biden about being on the bus and all that bus bullshit, even though she, went to school in Canada, that was a lie. I mean, you have all these things, all these articles that come out, and Kamala didn't help herself identify as being mixed race. I've played the audio where they said you'd be the first Indian, this and that, and she agreed. Yeah. She didn't say anything. She didn't say, "Hold on, I'm mixed actually. I'm part African American." She didn't say that. On the Indian cooking show with the Indian host, where she said, "You're Indian, yeah, and Kamala, yeah." Come on. We're cooking. Literally. There was nothing of that. So, of course, people are confused. It's like, wait a minute. What? All of a sudden, you're a strong black woman? Make it make sense. And all the people that are online, I see all the people online. I see the Mysone, the generals. Mysone used to rap. Now Mysone is funny to me. And I follow him on Instagram. Every day he's pumping this Kamala selling point hard than a motherfucker. I said, he's got to be getting a check the way he's pumping this shit. Gotta be. Gotta be. But it's crazy to me because it's like my son doesn't get political like he's been. He's never had this energy before. Not from what I've seen. I mean, he talks about politics and stuff, but he's going ride or die for Kamala. Kamala. Yeah. Big facts. I mean, what do you have to be realistic in your expectations. And I talk as somebody because if you follow the Chronicles podcast, we've been doing this since 2016. Oh, yeah. We've been doing it since then. And now, here we are, another election. And I see these bozos come out of nowhere and all of a sudden want to be political. I'm the bad guy today. Yeah. I'm going to say it. I'll be the bad guy. If this isn't your shtick, your shtick, whatever you want to call it. Shtick. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah. But if this isn't your lane, don't try to jump in the lane because we got an election this year. Stay in your lane. Keep doing hip hop and all that other shit. See, I talk a little hip hop when it's something big, you know, the Drake Kendrick feud, shit like that, you know. But we talk politics. So it baffles me when I see all these influencers go and do their little thing, and you know, they talk about this and talk about that. They're just all over the fucking place. And then soon as Kamala was the nominee, all of a sudden they're riding ride or die for her. What? I'm just saying. I got more bones to pick. Like I said, I'm the bad guy today because Roland, we're not done with you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Roland Martin was on live recently talking about Kamala Harris, her first interview. And apparently he tried to change the screens and there was a butt naked black man with his ass out walking through a rainbow hallway. You can't make this shit up. I am not making this shit up. Oh yeah. Yeah. Buttocks. It was buttocks. Now, people are saying online this is some new Netflix show or some shit like that. Regardless, why is that specific scene on your shit? Just queued up on your iPad. You know? Roland, you were already having a bad month. You got confronted at the DNC. You didn't do shit. Now you're sitting here looking at buttocks on your live streams? Come on. I mean, a lot of people think Roland is sus anyway. Now, what you do is what you do. If you're into dudes, even though you're married or whatever, if you're into dudes, that's none of my business. I don't care. But I'm talking about decorum and professionalism when it comes to doing a live stream. Why the fuck do you got some side shit or whatever going on your iPad? You're supposed to have that shit queued up and ready, man. You know. I mean, it just looks so weird because if you scrolled and, you know, it was a chick walking butt ass naked, people be like, oh, okay, he's got some porn or something going on in the background or whatever. But you just got a butt naked dude with the buttocks just walking in a rainbow hallway. It seems weird, man. Seems weird. I mean, but if we're being real anyway, nothing about Roland Martin says masculine male anyway. I mean, he talks slick. He acts like he's with that shit, but nothing about Roland says masculine. And that's another issue I have right now with the Democratic Party. I don't see masculine black men representing the party. Where's all the masculine black men at? Because when I look on television and as a black man, I want to see somebody that represents me, I don't see anybody. Because if we're keeping it honest, if I look at CNN, I don't see that in Van Jones. He got checked by Vivek. I talked about that. You know? Don Lemon is not that. All these political commentators I see on MSNBC and I don't see that. You mean the closest thing I see to that on TV is Charlemagne on news channels? Come on. Charlemagne ducks fades anyway. What are we doing? What are we talking about? You mean to tell me Lawrence on Fox is the only dude that seems masculine? Is his name Lawrence? Let me look him up. I think it's Lawrence Jones. Let me see. On the Cuzzo 3000. Lawrence B. Jones. Yeah. Lawrence B. Jones is the only dude I see on TV that's masculine seeming. And he's on Fox fucking News. Twan, if I'm missing anybody, please let me know, because Twan will let me know if I'm missing one. You dig? It's crazy. And I'm talking purely when you turn on the TV and look at the news. Now, it's plenty of masculine content creators, of course, because the new media is podcasting and content creation. It's what we do. But where is the masculinity at? I sit up here and I listen to great black content creators who are masculine, who talk to me, who I feel represent me. And I might not agree with everything they say, but I see what they're talking about. You know, guys like Tariq Nasheed. I listen to Tariq Nasheed. I don't agree with everything he says, but I listen to him. Guys like Anton Daniels, guys like The Saint. I listen to these guys. I hear what they have to say. Star, who's a legend in this shit. I could go on and on. Even great black female content creators. You have Melanie King. You have Pink Book Lessons on YouTube. You have Pop and Politics, those ladies. Great content creators. But I just gotta know, where is the masculinity at? Because we shouldn't be sitting here seeing Roland Martin looking at asses during a live stream. You know. Who knows? Roland could hear this. He could say something about me, mention me, throw a shot or whatever. It's fine. I don't do the back and forth shit on content. I'll just see you when I see you. I'll catch you. Oh my goodness. But that's how it has to be, you know? Because somebody's got to talk about these issues. Somebody has to mention it. These issues are important. People want to know what's going on in the nation. African Americans want to know what's going on in the nation. And somebody's got to tell them. And African Americans want to know what's going on with the migrant situation. New article that came out. Migrants make up roughly 75% of arrests in Midtown Manhattan. According to an estimate, 75% in Midtown Manhattan? Jeez. You can't make it up. This is what's happening. This is going on across the country. People are fed up with this. Now, we've been hearing the whole thing about the whole migrants in Aurora. I don't know. I've reached out to somebody there locally, and hopefully I can get an interview with her to talk about what's going on there in Aurora, Colorado. But it seems mixed. But New York don't seem mixed at all.
Reports show migrant crime is making up the majority of arrests in New York City. In fact, police report as many as 75% of the people they've arrested in Midtown Manhattan for assault, robbery, and domestic violence are illegal migrants, according to the New York Post. 60% of those arrests of migrants are in Queens.
There you go. That's what's going on. So you had the mayor of Aurora come on to discuss the residents of the apartment complex of what's going on in Aurora. And let's hear what he's got to say. I mean, this is lengthy, but it's astounding.
Of Aurora, Colorado. Mayor, thank you very much for coming on with us. It seems it's tough to even get some confirmation of the details of what is going on there. First off, can you confirm whether or not this gang has taken over these buildings there in Aurora?
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these three buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now or have had it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out, and arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
With the arrests that have been made, are these confirmed gang-affiliated members?
You know, this is an organized criminal effort. Whether it's Tren de Aragua, that remains to be seen. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, if they're Venezuelan migrants and they're conducting crime in an organized manner, they're a problem.
So, okay, so you're able to confirm that this Venezuelan gang has indeed taken over at least some of the buildings. You're saying at least two of the three. And what I just heard from you is you don't know how they ended up there. And you even made a suggestion that they could have been sent there by federal officials. I heard you suggest. Well, I mean, do you have any reason to believe that to be the case?
So here's the problem. I think we're a victim of a failed policy at the southern border, because what you have, Venezuela does not according to my law enforcement, Venezuela does not cooperate with the United States in sharing criminal histories. You've had a third of the country leave. You've had these massive waves of migrants coming across the border that many of them crossed the border illegally, were arrested, asked for political asylum, were not adequately vetted, were released into the country. The city of Aurora, we did everything we could to quite frankly keep them out of the city, because it's not our problem. This is a federal problem. This is a problem borne by the federal government. But what we're trying to find out, and what I believe occurred, was that federal agencies worked with some of our local nonprofits and put them there. Now, most of these people are very good people. But there's a criminal element that, from what I understand, what law enforcement is briefing me, that often follows them, intends to exploit them within their own migrant community. And so We believe that is happening now. Now we're the 51st largest city in America with over 400,000 in population. This is only several apartment complexes.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm not going to surrender any part of this city to a criminal element.
With all due respect, it's no longer, just in the hands of the feds when you've got, we've heard reports that this gang has green-lighted its members to attack your local police. What are you doing about that, Mayor?
Well, we're aware of that in the Denver metropolitan area, that there are elements of Tren de Aragua here. And so, we're, in terms of how our police operate, the tactics, what they're doing to protect themselves is our number one priority.
I think about how Aurora tried to position themselves versus Denver in all of this, with Denver's the sanctuary city status in a way, correct? And Aurora sort of tried
Denver's historically been a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
Aurora has not. And that's why we took the position.
That's not me. That's him, by the way.
We were not going to expend any public dollars on this migrant crisis, nor would we be a conduit for state or federal dollars to provide assistance. Not our problem, federal problem, border issue. They need to resolve it, not us. But somehow we got sucked into this, and we are a victim again of this policy that we didn't
that's a big somehow, and I would expect that you're probably very personally trying to get down to the bottom of that. When we watch this video, we've had this video playing all day on our network. We started airing it obviously earlier today, and our viewers obviously see this and think complete shock that this would be apparently. Have you confirmed that anything about the people on the screen, this building? Can you tell us anything about this video and what we're seeing?
Well, yeah, it's that intimidation factor. We've got Venezuelan gang members who have gone into an apartment complex where there's a concentration of Venezuelans and pushed out the property management through intimidation, and now they're intimidating the tenants there to pay them the rent and probably extort other things from them. And so it's a terrible situation. It's certainly not the whole city. It's 3 apartment complexes, but it's very serious nonetheless. And so hopefully we're going to be able to. It's hard. What the challenge is in part that you have. This is unfortunately part of the fabric of Venezuela, where you have the police in Venezuela are only there to protect the government. They're not there to protect the people. So there's so much criminality.
Wow.
And unfortunately, some of that has come up with the migrants here, and we're confronting it. And so it's again.
Yeah. Just a last question on that point, confronting it. I know you're a busy guy, and I know we'll let you get going because you've got a huge problem to tackle there in Aurora. Just finishing up with this Cookie Monster gang leader, so he's called. Okay. The New York Post has reported on him setting up operations right there in your town, Mayor. Cookie Monster is there. This guy's responsible for some heinous crimes. What are you actively doing right now to get a hold of him and arrest him?
He's been arrested. He's off the street.
That would be news. He's gone. He's off the street. Where is he?
Right. He's being held. He's been apprehended.
I would imagine he'd be a huge source of information as to how this gang ended up in your town.
Well, I think it's beyond that. It's how did this whole community end up in our town? Because I'm concerned beyond the gang issue. There's a secondary issue. In the secondary issue, desperate people do desperate things. And you've got all these migrants coming up, the Venezuelan migrants don't have access to, they have a legal status in the country pending their asylum claims, but they don't have access to a work permit for 6 months after they're here. Wow. And so there are some secondary issues that we're real concerned about. But right now, the priority is this gang issue.
And the feds are involved, correct?
The feds are involved.
Got it. Mayor,
law enforcement is involved. Law enforcement is involved.
I understand. Mayor, we appreciate you coming on. People have a lot of questions over what they're seeing right there in your town.
Sure.
And we've got more on the migrant situation coming up. Some buses, apparently migrants tried to get on some elementary school buses in California. We're going to have a dad related to that situation coming up. Mayor, thank you.
Now, also, Twan, I'm asking you, can we do the debate on Tuesday with Kamala and Trump? But Twan, I'm gonna ask you, because you're in Texas. There's also been reports, and I haven't done too much on it prior to this episode, but I've been hearing reports that there's a couple of Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes in North Texas. I don't know if you can verify that, Twan. You the Texas man, so let me know. But I'm hearing reports of that too. But recently also, the police chief has came out and denied that anything's going on as far as Colorado, denying that people are being taken over in the apartment complex. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's a possibility that the police are being misled? Just saying. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They think that Aurora's just fine. But hey, let's hear from her mouth. You know I like to give you all the coverage. Let's see. Here we go.
In Dallas, got quite a few of our officers out here that are out here tonight again. I've been out here for several weeks, making contacts with our residents, reassuring them about the criminal activity that's happening here and how we're going to address it. We're out here, we want to reassure the people that live in this community that we are actively investigating criminal activity that's happening and listening to them to so that we can learn anything that we're missing. You know, what are we missing, and actually find out what exactly is going on. We're out here because we care. I mean, nobody should be wearing this uniform if they don't care. And we want the residents and the people that live here to know that we care. We've been talking to the residents here and learning from them to find out what exactly is going on. And there's definitely a different picture. I'm not saying that there's not gang members that don't live in this community, but what we're learning out here is that gang members have not taken over this complex. We've really made an effort to the last few days to just really ask the specific questions and the direct questions in terms of the gang activity and who's actually making sure that people aren't paying rent to gang leaders or gang members, that's not happening. And we've discovered here today and yesterday talking to so many residents that that's not the case. We've been talking about, and they've been sincere with us. We really believe that they are sincere with us. And we're standing out here, and I can tell you that gang members have not taken over this apartment complex.
Folks, she looks and sounds oblivious. Yeah. Yeah. Damn shame. She believes in good faith that none of those people are too scared to talk to her. That's not how this works. That is definitely not how this works. Things have been going on. You need to figure out what is going on in your community. If you're a police officer, figure it the fuck out. But yeah, Twan, if you could find that out for me, because they're saying Dallas, that Trende Aragua is in the city doing stuff as well. So I'd like to get some answers for the listeners for the live stream. If we could live stream the debate and figure that out, that'd be great. I believe the debate, let me see, Trump debate. I believe it's September 10th. So I believe that's this upcoming Tuesday, right? Let me look at the calendar and see. I got you guys making appointments with me and shit. Oh, yeah. Yep, it's Tuesday. Oh, yeah. You know. So, yeah, we going to hopefully live stream that and get it going and get you guys entertained, because I heard a lot of good feedback from the last debate. So we want to give you guys what you want, you know? Now, folks, needleandthreadsco.com, baby. We got to give it up. These are troubling times, I've got to admit, you know, very troubling. However, Needle and Threads Co.'s got you covered, man. They got the Don't Worry, Be Happy tee. Wear your Don't Worry, Be Happy tee, even if Venezuelan migrants are banging on your door. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Y'all remember the song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Yeah. But the Don't Worry, Be Happy tee is on there. So many good selections of t-shirts for the ladies, for the men, for the kids, for fitness, for holidays, sets of attire, everything. That's needleandthreadsco.com. That's needleandthreadsco.com. And don't forget, use promo code Chronicles, get 15% off at checkout. You dig? Y'all already know what it is, man. That's how we get down. You just got to enjoy it. Sexual chocolate. We're going to let y'all just groove out for a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. I'm feeling good today. I like that. It's nothing like sexual chocolate, man. Sexual chocolate gets the mood going. Don't you agree? I had to let it spin out for a minute, you know? Over the weekend, you know what? I'm going to save that for last. I'm going to save that. I'm making a mid-show adjustment, you dig? Did you guys see Fani Willis and Nathan Wade show up to her daughter's arrest scene? Are they fucking serious? Are they serious? Y'all got to get this bitch up off the case. Didn't she say on the stand they not even fucking with each other no more, and here they are showing up to arrest scenes together? Come on. That motherfucker Wade said he wasn't fucking with her no more. That tells me that Fani must have some good nani. Oh, gosh. I'm still waiting on somebody to ask Kamala about meeting with Fani before she filed the charges against Trump in that Georgia case. Huh? I guess Fox, CNN, or nobody wants to ask her that. I guess Cuzzo's the only one who wants to know what's up with that. What did they meet with the White House for? Why did Fani go to the White House and meet with them prior to those charges being filed? I just want to know. You know. But I had to get that out the way. But I watched the movie on Netflix, The Deliverance, over the weekend. Lee Daniels. I've got to say, the movie was trash. Hot garbage. So I feel like Lee Daniels didn't do the story. He added a whole bunch in, like, I mean, a lot of stereotypical stuff when it came to me, when it came to African Americans, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way we were portrayed in that movie. As an African, that's just me though, but I'm a paranormal guy, so I know the story of this house. You know, because I saw the documentary that Zach, what is the motherfucker's name? Zach from Ghost Hunters, I believe. Let me, I'm looking it up now so I don't butcher his name. Because he's got a museum and everything in Vegas. Zach Bagans. So he did a documentary on the Demon House. That's what it's called. So I had already saw that, and I was familiar with the Gary, Indiana Demon House story before that movie. And after watching that movie, I was so disappointed in how it was handled. Now, the story in itself is pretty incredible. The photos of the figure being in the window and everything. The witnesses that saying the boy did walk backwards up the wall. That's pretty incredible. But when it comes to the paranormal, I guess maybe I'm a bigger judge when it comes to stuff like that, because I'm a fan of the paranormal. You guys, if you guys pay attention to my conversations with Cuzzo episodes, you guys know I'm a fan, and I talk to paranormal people, psychics, you know, people that do everything when it comes to paranormal. I leave no stone unturned. So to give a movie a failing grade, even though I'm familiar with the story and I'm into the paranormal, is really, really, really difficult for me to do. But I had to do it for this one. I'm sorry. But, you know, Demon House, the documentary, Zach Bagans discusses the whole story of what happened with the woman who stayed there, and I want to find out where she is now. I would love to interview her. You know, it would be an incredible interview to have with someone who stayed at that location. I have so many questions, you know, and maybe I can get it. I don't know. Maybe I can get the interview. I would love to. LaToya Ammons would be a great interview for Cuzzo. But yeah, you know, it's a very interesting story, and you know, some people still say to this day that, you know, there's weird things that go on around that property. Now the property's been demolished. The house has been taken down since, I think it was recently, within the last few years as well, where it was actually demolished. Let's see. 2016, it was demolished, it looks like. So it was a while ago. But from what a lot of people are saying, it's still an eerie feeling to even walk near that property. So it would be an interesting interview. But if you guys want to check it out, it's on Netflix. It was a lot of cuckoo shit added on there. Like when the bitch that was possessed said, "I can smell your nappy pussy." I said, "What? Huh?" Now we're getting cuckoo. We didn't need that. You know? We're getting cuckoo now. Just saying. Final thoughts. Do you guys think we're going to have another pandemic anytime soon? I want to know what you guys think about that. And why is it that, you know, why is it when they come out with a lot of these virus names, it's got to be something related to Africa, you dig? Or African Americans, black people. Why is that? I mean, you had the West Nile virus, which is the Nile River. You had the Zika virus, which was from the Zika forest in Uganda, of course. The Ebola virus, which was from the Ebola River in Congo. It's like, y'all motherfuckers can't just name some other shit. Just saying, can we be different? Just saying. You know. Because you know if they come with another pandemic, the mail-in ballots are going to be ready. We're going to have pipes busting in Georgia. Yeah. You see, Putin came out recently and Putin said he wants Kamala to win. Funny. Well, it's like, yeah, motherfucker, they letting you get away with everything you want to get away with. Just saying, that's just my opinion though. You know. But we are closing in. How many days are we? We're 60 and change away from the election. How do you guys feel? How are you going to vote? Are these events shaping your mind frame of which way you'd like to vote? Are you going to early vote? I think I'm going to vote early this year. I usually vote on election day, but I think I don't want to deal with the bullshit, and I just want to go cast my vote early. You know, I don't mind standing in line to vote because I kind of like watching the process and seeing people vote and, You see some people that are excited to vote, and you see some people that act like it's a fucking chore to vote. It's like, motherfucker, you don't have to be here. So I don't know. I'm still debating, but I'm considering early voting. We'll see. So yeah, but next week, hopefully, me and Twan will do live for the debate. That'll be good. Then the following week, I don't know if I'll do an episode after the debate or not. I'm gonna see. I'm taking a week off, so we're gonna see. I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. But the debate's coming. I know it's going to be entertaining. I know you guys want to partake in it, so we're going to get it going, you know, as only we do. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, get goals accomplished. Get ready to power through another amazing week and power through with the Chronicles. If you haven't listened to the previous episodes, go back and listen because you might have missed something. It never hurts. I enjoy being in your guys' ear while you're in the gym or while you're at work or while you're driving. I enjoy this podcast shit, you know? So support me. Tell a friend about the Chronicles. Tell a friend to tune in. I hope I can make you guys laugh and entertain you and also give you guys something to think about. Because at the end of the day, this is about progression, not being regressive with our thinking and how we proceed about things. So we got to put some respect on that.
Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all saying my name, put some respect on.
Absolutely. So, you know, before we get up out of here, you know what it is, needleandthreadsco.com, Chronicles Podcast. Check me out on all platforms. I'm on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora. It's not too many podcasts you see on Pandora. You know, check me out on Pandora. Check me out on a lot of them, man. Every major platform, Cuzzo's on. So you know what it is. And you know why that is?
I'm better than you, and you know it.
So we up out of here, man. You guys have an amazing, amazing week, man. And I'll catch y'all on the go around. Y'all know what time it is. We out.
Yeah, yeah.